Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel where we always cut through the woke fluff to give you the real story behind film, television, and video games that you love, or in this case, you probably are going to hate. Today, we're going to tackle the beast that is the latest incarnation of Assassin's Creed. That's right, the saga Shadows. Shadows. And of course, how identity politics has not just delayed this game, but definitely doomed it. Doomed it to failure. But before we get started on the big black samurai debacle, let's make sure you're part of the conversation. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, like about 60% of you right now, look down below, turn that red subscribe button to gray, turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss one single story of our 1 to 5 each and every day. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit the like button because I'm sure you're going to like this, and definitely share the video around. It actually helps me, it helps the channel, and we're on our way to 100K, and you are the whole reason why. So I thank you in advance, and now let's get back to talking Assassin's Creed Shadows. You see, Ubisoft has delayed this game yet again to better incorporate player feedback. But we need to read between the lines here. And according to this amazing story over at Bounding Into Comics, this delay comes after 3 months of gathering feedback. That's right, feedback that seems to scream, why are you pushing identity politics over into gameplay? Why are you not focusing on gameplay? But hey, Ubisoft's response to this is predictable. Delay, not to rethink their approach. Now let's take a look at some of those mistakes as highlighted by That Park Place. And from the get-go, I guess Shadows has been mired in controversy. Of course, we all knew that. Over its historical inaccuracies, of which there are hundreds, if not more, thousands perhaps. And the decision to shoehorn in what feels more like a lecture on modern day multiculturalism than it does a authentic dive into feudal Japan. And if you ask the Japanese, they're a little frustrated and angered by it. It's almost as if Ubisoft actually hates the Japanese, based on some of their terrible marketing and choices from beginning to end, including the recent staff reductions at Osaka. In fact, I believe that studio may be completely gone now. And of course, this isn't just about game quality, of which there is little. And hence, Ubisoft is claiming to be refocusing on that in a new game developers article that we'll take a look at right now. Ubisoft taking decisive steps to reshape company and renew focus on gameplay quality. My patootie. But of course, this is just corporate speak for we've gone too woke, too fast, and now we're scrambling. And why are they scrambling? Well, according to That Park Place once again, Ubisoft seemingly prepping for bankruptcies. That's right, ahead of Assassin's Creed Shadows release, the past failures have pointed towards almost certain doom. And if you look at the financial arguments from Francesco, you can actually see the pathway to bankruptcy beginning to end, starting just a few months ago when this first level of disaster was happening. So what's a big corporation to do, especially one that employs over 18,000 people and should scale it down to about 5,000? Well, you distract people with gameplay. In fact, we've got expansion details recently leaked by GameSpot promising over 10 hours of gameplay. That's right. Take a look at it. I'm sure you'll be excited with the Claws of Awaji, whatever that is. Of course, none of this actually changes the fact that the core game seems to be more about satisfying an infinitesimally small modern audience, one that just at scale simply does not exist. It also still feels largely like a game by committee full of a bunch of gender studies graduates, which is not what video gaming is about. I mean, ultimately, when you get down to it, the entire reason to make such an unpopular game, or what will be an unpopular game, was to satisfy some kind of Neo-Marxist globalist thinking, which I think we're all pretty tired of if you look at a lot of elections around the Western world. And this failed multicultural effort of rewriting history, especially bringing in a basically non-existent black person into feudal Japan, was not done for gamer satisfaction. They have chosen to prioritize identity politics over what made Assassin's Creed beloved. It's historical immersion and gameplay that made a lot of sense for the times. And of course, as you've witnessed, and I have as well, the backlash has been palpable. Fans are not just disappointed, they are actually very vocal about Ubisoft's focus on DEI, something that every other company has realized is poison for whatever they're working on. And as we'll get to in just a moment, they've had feedback that actually bears out that very specifically. All of this kind of thinking has come at the expense of story integrity and gameplay, which I think a lot of people are just absolutely tired of as well. They've gone from the stealthy assassins to social justice warriors, and not in the way that adds depth to the narrative. In fact, it destroys the narrative because these types of issues are affixed to this point in history that nobody likes, nobody enjoys, and everybody's running away from. The irony of it all now is that Ubisoft actually claims to be listening to the feedback that they've gotten over the last 90 days since the, first call to delay, or the, I guess, fourth call to delay along the way of making this game. But what's really hysterical is they're actually doubling down. They're not addressing the core issue here, is that the game was conceived as a pander to a narrative that doesn't resonate with the majority of their gamers. They're chasing a ghost, an audience that doesn't exist in any significant numbers, while alienating the fans like us who've been attached to this series since Altair. The first leap into the haystack had you hooked, and then it just went on from there. But I think the broader problem here is that everybody saw this coming except for these major corporations who had it so ingrained that it rotted their internal culture and pushed people out who could help them save the day. The day will not be saved, nor will this game be good or well received. It also will likely not sell the way they need it to in order to avoid the bill collectors while the stock price and value drops. At this point, it's hard not to see Ubisoft as the virtual yard sale for IPs that it's going to be by the end of 2025. So, I ask you, what do you think, Culturians? Is there another example of how identity politics is killing creativity in gaming? Of course there is. I'm sure you're going to give me a few down in the comments section below. Do you think Ubisoft could actually turn this around? It seems like a question I ask every time I talk about Ubisoft, and yet I think the answer is a firm no, but I want to hear your perspective. Also, do you think there's a chance this game could be rescued in the final 11th hour? Is it a possibility that they've been working secretly in the background extra hard with a bunch of external contractors to take out all of the identitarian politics and neo-Marxism? I doubt it. I think we're going to get a inconsistent in continuity game at best and a complete woke poop show at the very worst. Again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya for real.